This is week 2 of 52 weeks of 30. The whole purpose of this series is to focus on some of the things that I've learned through the previous week. The natural world, something about work or business, something about myself, something about family, and something spiritual. My wife and I are expecting our third child. As we go to these prenatal appointments, the midwives, they explain, what's going on. They talk to us about, what to expect. During the process of labor, a baby can either be posterior or anterior. Anterior is when the baby's face is pointing towards the woman's back. This is the natural, expected, ideal position during labor. The anterior is what you expect, right? Posterior, though, is if the baby is facing the mother's stomach or the mother's belly. It slows labor down. This is a lot of times referred to as back labor. That's one thing I learned about the natural world this week. The next area is work or business. I cannot describe how many times I have been in a meeting with 2 to 10 people. The meeting goes on, it goes an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, and you've talked about a lot. Everyone there feels like they're doing something, but at the end, everyone leaves the meeting without a very clear task. Like, what are they supposed to be doing? I have decided that I am done with meetings that do not result in tasks, because if there is not a task at the end of that meeting, it should have been an email or a phone call. I'm reading the Steve Jobs biography, and he had just an innate ability to focus, like hyper focus. One of the things about focus is it has the ability to clarify why you're doing what you're doing. I really want to start incorporating that a bit more, particularly in my business and my work life. Okay, so I learned 2 major things about myself this week. First, I love soda. I love it because of the way it burns as you drink it. That burns so good. So yeah, I really like that burn. So that's weird, but I learned that about myself. A second thing that I've learned about myself that also correlates to the next point is apparently my hair, my facial hair, is possibly the most invasive and pervasive substance on the planet. The way that leads into the next point is family. This is bad, but basically I'm 30 years old, and this week I learned for the first time, I kind of put these things together. When I shave or I trim my beard, my facial hair goes everywhere in the bathroom. It's ridiculous. The sink looks terrible after I've shaved. Because my facial hair is so pervasive, which was pointed out to me by my wife, I don't clean up after myself well enough after I've shaved. So this week I have decided that I am going to take a much more active role in cleaning our bathroom, because I realized that my hair is everywhere in the bathroom. Not just on the sink, not just like around that area, but like everywhere. In our family, we take advantage of my wife. She does a lot of cleaning. She does a lot of maintenance around the house. She really keeps everything going really smoothly and makes our house a wonderful place to be. But I have been dropping the ball in a major way when it comes to the bathroom. That place is gross, and it's mostly my fault. So I'm going to try to clean that a bit more. A second point that I learned about family this week was that my children are growing up way too fast. I know that sounds really cliche, and everyone says, your kids are going to grow up so fast, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's true. It's like super true. My son turned 8 this week. He's like a little man. I feel like he's growing up a little too fast, and I'm so stressed with work sometimes. I'm so busy with things that I think are important that I feel like I'm not embracing their youth. We're expecting our third child. My son is 8, my daughter is 6. I really want to make sure that I take time to hug them and kiss them all over their faces, because I think that's important. That's another thing I learned during this week about family. Okay, so the last area each week that I really want to focus on is spiritual growth. My wife and I have been focusing on the fruits of the Spirit, and love is the first fruit. Here's the thing I learned. Basically, if you're looking for love all around you, you can find it. It's there. If you're not really focused on it and you're not looking for it, you almost never see it. So my takeaway there is that I think if we will focus on a pleasing, beneficial attribute in people, in this case maybe expressions of love that kind of demonstrate love, it's so much easier to find them. Whereas before, I don't know that I necessarily saw them as much. We need to be really looking for examples and expressions of love more often. So that's kind of my takeaway from spiritual growth is if I want to experience one of the fruits of the Spirit, I need to be paying attention to it. And it's not just going to hit me. It's not just going to come at me. I need to be looking for it. Okay, so yeah, that's the second week of 52 weeks of 30. All right, cool.